Hey y'all, it's your fellow human being himself, Leo here, just wanting to do another simple tip video on how to use shuffling to create a sample loop arrangement. Now, what do I mean by shuffling? Shuffling is basically what you do on a YouTube playlist or your Spotify playlist where you're basically rearranging audio items randomly. So just like how you hit the shuffle playlist button on YouTube and it shuffles the playlist randomly to select a different song to play, that's what we're going to be doing here. And we're going to be using that to try to create a simple melody line. So I have a sample here that I'm going to play, which is from Guitar Riffing, my last song off the Improvised Thoughts album I released earlier this year. So it's just the first 8 bars. If you want to listen to the whole song, you can find it on my channel or look in the description below. So what I'm going to be doing is using the shuffle action I found in the actions list in Reaper, which you can access using F4. And the action is called
Shortcut help on Xenakios/SWS: shuffle order of selected items.
It says Xenakios, but it's Xenakios, Xenakios, SWS, and this will cause all the items to be shuffled on my track. If you want to find this, you can just type shuffle in the search box or copy the wording of this action in the description below. We're going to be using this in tandem with this other script.
Item: split items at timeline grid.
So splitting items at timeline grid, basically what I like to do is chop up items by grid division. And I set my grid to, let's say, half notes, which is Control-Shift-2. And whenever I run this action, it will split the item into even sections. So that way it's not just all a jumbled mess of differently sized pieces. So if you're going to be chopping up stuff by grid division, you're going to use this. And you're also going to use Control-Shift in the top number row. So Control-Shift 1 through 9 sets the grid division by different grid types. Okay, so now that we have those in place,
Shortcut help off.
what I'm going to do is select the item.
1 solo, 116.
Okay, so I have the item selected. And I'm going to chop up this item into quarter note size pieces.
Grid quarter.
So Control-Shift-4 for quarter notes. And I'm going to run the action. And now we have all this stuff chopped up and we should have 32 items.
32 items selected.
Okay, so we have 32 items. And now I'm going to run the shuffle script. So here's what one shuffle does. Now, something else before I go into creating a loop out of this is if you're wanting to go for a more glitchy sound on your loop arrangement, definitely consider creating chops at smaller grid divisions. So I select all the items again.
32 items select.
And I'm going to chop this up by 16th notes.
Grid 16th.
So Control-Shift-6 for 16. And I'm going to now shuffle them. So at this point, it's kind of like when you hear those futuristic type intros at the beginning of what's coming to mind is Radiolab, where you're having this quick succession of audio snippets that it just sounds like you're playing something at fast forward times 2. I'm going to go 30-second notes, chop up. And there you go. Now you have your fast forward type sounding intro that makes it sound like you're just fast forwarding through a piece of audio. Final thing to note before creating any loop arrangement is the action is shuffle order of selected items. In other words, if you have a certain section of items selected, it's only going to focus on those items. So for example, if I only shuffle the first bar.
Set select bar 2, set selection end.
So I'm setting a time selection around my items. Shift space to select the track, and then I'm going to hit Alt Shift A.
4 items selected.
So I have 4 items selected.
Bar 1.
I'm at the beginning of my project now. Well, I'm going to
repeat on.
I'm going to hit repeat on so that way you can hear what's going on. Okay, so now I'm going to it's changing the order of those items, and if I let this play out,
repeat off,
it's not going to impact the rest. So if you're trying to create a sample loop arrangement by shuffling, you can focus on a bar by bar type situation where you can just shuffle a certain set of items and then just continue on until you have your whatever your loop arrangement is at the end of it. Oh, and also make sure to have ripple per track on as before. Alt Shift P to toggle between ripple off, ripple per track, and ripple all tracks. So that way you can be able to make sure that when you're cutting, pasting, moving stuff around, it's gonna actually move as opposed to having stuff be stationary. Okay, now we can go on to creating our loop arrangement.
bar 4 beat 4.
Okay, so I'm gonna take the first 4 bars, and duplicate them. Okay.
Bar 1, set, jump, selection remove, bar 5.
So hit Control J if you want to jump to a different bar. I'm now at bar 5.
Set select.
And I'm setting a time selection, so left bracket and right bracket for beginning and end of time selection respectively.
1 soloed sample.
And then I'm going to hit Shift Space to select the track. And then I'm going to hit Alt Shift A.
16 items select.
To select the items. And then I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate.
Ripple per dash track.
Okay, there we go.
16 items added. Ripple per track is bar 1. Select.
Let me
set
see
selection
some.
bar. Set repeat on.
Okay, so I'm gonna
bar 9.
So I'm moving forward and backwards by bar. That's page up and page down. So select these items.
4 items selected.
And then shuffle.
Bar 10, sets, bar 11, set select, bar 10.
Shuffle.
4 items.
Whoa. Okay, let me see.
Bar 9.
I think that's good.
Bar 10, bar 11, set select, bar 12, set select, bar 11.
Ooh, actually, let me cut these out.
4 items. Selected area of 4. Jump, selection.
Move these up. I'm going to move these to bar 9.
Bar 9. 4 items. Select.
Maybe I should
Jump.
paste that at bar 12 as well.
4.
Okay, I need to cut. I'm going to cut this.
1 item. Select.
And move this up.
Bar 9. One item.
Okay, I'm gonna take let me see,
Select
bar 8.
bar 8. Bar 7. Set
Take
select
this.
bar 8. Bar 9.
Maybe these two
1.
bars.
Non-con. 8 item. Select bar 16 beat 1. 8. Jump to times.
Okay, so here's our loop.
Bar.
So, it's okay. I guess on a more percussion type tip, I also wanted to explore using this on MIDI data. So I have this secondary track here.
3 drums 4 items.
So I called it drums, but it's basically just a hi-hat pattern. And this is what it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is basically take this item and I'm going to just chop it up into 16th notes because I want to see what happens
Grid 16.
if I shuffle this item.
1 0 2.
Okay, so we got, oh, that's a very trippy pattern. So I didn't shuffle it. I just only did chops around it. And there you go. There's an interesting pattern that you can kind of mess around with. But now we're going to shuffle it. Okay, I want to see what this sounds like in context. So I have some kicks and snares below. And we're just going to let it play against the melody and see what happens.
All tracks unsoloed.
So I think I'm going to change the pattern.
Undo shuffle order of.
I'm going to unchop this.
Undo split items.
I'm just going to chop it by 8th notes.
1 item select. Grid 8th.
Split, chop. Okay, I think I like that more. Let me see.
All tracks unsoloed.
So obviously, you may need to do some more editing, but it does provide at least a good basis for creating more rhythmic patterns. Okay, so I really have nothing else to say. But yeah, this is definitely, I feel like I'm going to invest in making this idea be something, and I'll probably put it up as a short or something. I don't know. But yeah, hope this tutorial has been helpful. Keep safe. Hope you enjoy. Shalom. Peace.